going to walk through that door and say, you know what? That's my top 5. I am here. Look at Nate, Snazy, and Sky looking uncontested. Flois, Hellfire, and Scram looking good uncontested as well. It seems like everybody in the top seems to be uncontested yet again. But we've seen that doesn't particularly matter this time around. These winners are coming outside of the top 10. Everybody that needs and is relevant right now is outside, inside the top 10. That top 5, everybody obviously fighting for series points as well. But that top 5 is what everyone cares about right now. Top 10 goes all the way down to 101 points. 5th place is at 133. So it's there. It's still possible, right? There's still some relevancy. But when you get down to the teams that don't have as many points, haven't had the best of games, they're playing for series points. But when it comes to being relevant to top 5, you need to be in that top 10.
We'll talk about the top 5 we have right now, because even inside there, I mean, Claire explained all the different stakes. The stakes for them are super different, right? Look at that, Snazy, Sky, Nate, 133 points. Right below him, 129 with Karma. They're not chilling at all. These guys have been sweating, work like a 15-hour shift, and they still have the most stressful part of their job left in this final game. You look up 1 from them, Flois, Hellfire, Scram, 142, tied with Floki, Clement, Deceptos, and these guys just fought each other or saw each other fight last game. They're in bumper cars, side-by-sides, go-karts, right? Clashing over and over again, and are both also running out of fuel in those vehicles. One above them, Versace, Malibuka, Shizo. They're kind of like athletes that have been hot, ready, nice, stretched out the whole day. Just got put on ice clay that last game. They haven't skipped the game just yet, and they have to watch everyone else get points. Probably anxious coming into this one. And then finally, our leaders so far, Tayson, Chapix, Reason. They've got sunglasses on, Hawaiian shirts, feet up at the beach, a 20-point lead almost on the rest of the competition. All they have to do is not miss their clock in time for work the next day after vacation. They got to make sure, yes, we're happy off spawn right now, but work still needs to be done this game. It doesn't matter if they win, really, right? That's a good personal accolade, but it's about that top 5. They have to stay in there. They have to still maintain and get a few points this game.
A lot of fights happening around, and looks alone going to be taken down here by Stacey. This is exactly where they end up getting that mythic burst. They just got to be careful. Sona's making plays. Hen going to go down. They tried to make strides toward that top 10, 15th place for Hen. They did have great games all around. Again, we're harping on top 5 because that is what matters to go to the finals. But there still is an opportunity in semifinals for everybody that gets enough series points. Snazy is going to take down every Sloan but the last one, the true one with that mythic burst AR. But already, just look at how much ammo they have. Like, they're already setting themselves up for greatness.
It's huge, and everyone's really going all in with it. So many early game strats are isolated. So many fights themselves as well leave people with full finishes, right? No one really has to go for any big revivals. As a result, we're seeing some of the fewest reboots. You just saw that quick silence screen that we've seen in EU overall, inside, you know, just in general in round 4. So we're looking at things today. It seems like everyone's got their strategies locked in. They're going and fully finishing all these fights. And earlier on, being a lot more isolated, going for their own strats. But we saw how big Surge is as a result, right, Clay? Lots of teams also struggling there. Flow, Scram, Hellfire, I think there was one game where they were behind. This time, though, I mean, you might not like, and it could be true that Lazy's a little bit tough to loot. They've got 3 extra big pots. They've got more than great weapons, too. It's huge for them, a nice pedestal to move in with. Because remember, they're tied right now with 3rd place. That's Floki, Clement, and Deceptos.
They've got time as well. It seems like already looted every building. They're quick with it. We're going to get an east zone centered up, though. In the middle of the map, there's going to be that contestant. Trulik's going to fall there as well. Going to get knocked by Vino. Of all teams ended up fighting. I believe that's them in the middle of the map there. But just look at how much open area there is. And look how many players are still looting where they've landed at. Holly still being looted. Outside of Sludgy still being looted. Pleasant still being looted, but I believe that was a fight that was happening there. Karma to find some shots over on a team at Stealthy Stronghold. But Karma, again, you talked about, they're one of those teams. They are on the bubble. They're 6th place. They need to perform.
I want to look a little bit from that outside in. Karma is one of those teams on the bottom right with Aware and Zendaya. Had a big pop-off. I said they can't really miss another game after that. So in the last game, they got a 5th with 5 elims. All their other games have been outside the top 10, a 20th, a 12th, a 15th. Now is the time to really lock it in. Have 2 good games back to back, but Clay, they haven't done that yet. Every time they have a good game, it's followed by maybe 1 or maybe 2 bad ones after the fact. So they have to keep the emotions calm for the moment. I know things are probably still happening in the feed, but if it doesn't concern the top 10, I don't really care as much for the moment, because these guys are still right on that line. It's 4 points behind Snazy, Sky, and Nate, and they land on the complete opposite side of the map. Sanji Vovi being affected this time. It's not Aqua taking out those people at Boney Burbs. Maybe they even switched up their spot trying to qualify all the way towards the end. But another team to focus on too is Saba, Tidy, and Asitam, who I feel like have had really good end games. They have been a little bit troublesome inside that early game, but they're here. They're at one of the risky spots. They're contested overall, and overall they're 7th place right now, Clay.
I just don't know for these teams that are outside the top 5, which one of them has the experience and has that momentum to string together the game they need.
I mean, it might not be Sabas and Hesitums. They have to basically do what they've never done before, and that's be inside the top 5. They've come 8th, 10th, 7th, a lot. That's very good and consistent. Need to pop off though. Here's Saba by himself for the moment. Needs to make sure that this game, they get that top 5. They get the VR. They get to stay all the way up top, because if not, they're not going to qualify.
And Hellfire just got an elimination, which I'm not sure where. They were pretty uncontested at Lazy and all around. So someone rotating in, causing a little bit of havoc, but that's better for them. That's great for them. That's 2 eliminations for them. They, again, are 4th place. They, like you said, are not chilling by any means. They need these.
That was the Boney Burbs fight that was breaking down. Krusty, I believe, took out a lot of the people that used to be landing there. Maybe that Boney team moved over somewhere near Lazy Lake. At the same time, Lazy, kind of opposite from the way it's named. You can be very active on that POI. We can watch these guys looting it in 1 second. They can be in a car across the map in the next. So maybe that's exactly what happened. Different story for Tidy, Saba, and Esitum. They start with a little bit less loot than everyone else. It's not the most powerful. I think Tidy actually has a very good loadout compared to what he usually has. They're landing on the north side of that big Cammy split, and they get a little bit of the, you know, in total as they move around. But at the same time, the last team to talk about, Crow, Ozzy, and Deox. I mean, Clay, they've been popping off in the end game when they make it there overall. They're in 8th place, 123 points. And it's either or for these guys. Either make an end game, get 6 with really good elim counts, right? 7 or 4, or they get a 27th or outside top 10. And right now they have 2 outsides and 3 in the actual money, right? So if we're following patterns, they might not make it into this end game, but they have to break it.
I think my best analogy is, you know, in your kitchen, you have that one knob that sometimes is hot, sometimes is cold. You turn it on, and it's kind of like, which temperature water am I going to get today? And that's kind of how we're here with them. Are they going to be hot? Are they going to be cold in this final game? They need to be hot. We need them to be. They need themselves to be. But are they going to be? It's a roll of the dice right now. But just a quick stat, 17 different teams have been inside the top 10. So the shuffle, like we've been talking about, is very apparent today. And I also want to point out, this is probably the most aggressive game we've seen. We more than likely will not see Surge in that 3rd zone. 72 players up. This is going to be different. Players are not going to have the same amount of shots to rely on.
And players also won't have the update of how much damage they've done, so it might be even harder for that 5th zone. That's a very good point. You're talking about the knob in the kitchen, or, you know, on a faucet, you're not sure what happens. But these guys too, I feel like they're kind of moths to a flame that sometimes fly too close to it, or kind of like Icarus with the wings, right? They're very aggressive, really good at what they do in terms of fights, but sometimes overstay, sometimes go for that extra peak. We saw it versus Malabuka's team. They lost a player, had to get him back. For Crow, it's all about restraint in this game. That being said, we can analyze and talk about, you know, teams have to do this differently, that differently. When teams change up their strategy, that might already be their demise. Sometimes it's about locking in, playing aggressive again, taking the big risk. If you change up the entire way you play, bring a whole new game, and usually that never works out.
And it's even more risky doing it in the top 10 in the final game when you need top 5 to go through. it just makes it that much more difficult and that harder for players to make that decision of, yeah, we need to make a change. Yeah, we've got to play a little bit differently. Those little micro differences are easier. Just say, hey, let's not rotate this way this time. Let's go over here. Let's look for shots over there. But speaking of differences, Scram, Hellfire, Flois came into this game 142 points. They're currently sitting on 153, making their way up the leaderboard. Snazy, Sky, and Nate, they came in 133. So there's 5 points given out for placement, have already been there for everybody. But 153 would put them over second place right now. So that they would take.
Definitely would. At the same time, the second place team is alive and getting the same placements as these guys are. So it should be all the way up towards the top as well. 400 damage above. While every other team fights and pushes to try to salvage their game, you know, the infamous Mega and Dubs clip of we just kind of need a 20 bomb and we should be fine. And that's kind of what they used to do in those World Cup days over and over again. If everyone's trying to do that, if Snazy, Sky, and Nate just sit on the mountain, pick apart those teams, throw a few pot shots every now and then, they get to be up good on Surge like they are now. Cosmic Chest also available for them if they want to end up taking it. And Ristrado might be the next person that Snazy, Sky, and Nate target. Remember, you want to be playing the game the same way as you were in any other one. If this is an advantageous, isolated fight, if you have a 2v3 already set and ready, it's next to the right side of the zone and it's no one else is there, it might be the best fight to take. Unfortunately, there is a team already on the hill looking at Ristrado's team overall. So they'll just pick up Snazy and be on their way.
What I'm worried about for Snazy, Sky, and Nate is that they just don't have the pop-off potential that they need to. Yes, they played a consistent game, but being top 5, there's pop-off with Karma, Zendaya, and Aware. There's pop-off with Tidy. There's pop-off with Crow. There's teams below them that have that factor of we can win a game on a moment's notice. Nate, Snazy, and Sky, while they do, it's a very slow-paced game. It's a very, I'm going to just outlast you on low ground. And what we've seen is that the teams above them are better at doing that. So where do they fit into this puzzle of we're top 5, but we're not comfortable?
For them, the comfort comes in elims, and there's so many teams alive usually in the end game that are available to give you those eliminations. The big thing about this game, where's the comfort? Very good question, Clay, because a lot of these teams have already been eliminated. The end game will be a little less stacked than usual. Teams will be playing very differently too, so they're not going to find the same elims on the same layers. They always have one person clutching too. This time, all 3 of them kind of have to stay alive, stay secure, and get ready to go because elims will be a lot tougher to find in the 6th game.
Only 85 damage above. Karma, Zendaya, and Aware seem to always be in this position where they're barely above. They can make an opportunity to continue to be above, and they're going to have to. Look at their rotation coming through there. That mark on the map from them will keep them on our mini map here. And look, they're going for a very central push, but they need to go for more than that. 23 above. The teams damaging them are the ones that are below Surge. They do get some more tags in return, but 67 is still not safe. Nobody has gone down. So we pointed out that 72 players were up when that first initial talk about Surge happened. No one has gone down. No one has been rebooted. Everyone knows that if they want to win, if they want to be in the top 5, and even if they want enough series points, they have to stay up. But who is not up? It's going to be in Zendaya, but quickly a swing of damage goes their way.
I think Aware and Karma had a nice angle on someone around them, and they need to stay alive. They have the biggest advantage against all other teams right now, Clay. Aware, Karma, and Zendaya. They have a victory royale under their belts. So when it comes to tiebreakers, which it has previously in EU, which it has previously this week on OCE and across the entire world, having a win under your belt is huge. It might be worth for anyone to even try to take this team out if they're close by, force that fight, because who knows? Even if Snazy, Sky, and Nate end up popping off, if Karma's right beside them with that win, there's nothing they can really do unless they themselves win a game. And I guess that one big pick pushes forward for the finish. Aware and Karma are there. They have a little bit of that loot to take. The hard mat's the metal right there. That's huge. They back up with the ammunition as well. A nice refresh for the team.
I don't know if they're done backing off. It looks like they are. but they're still looking because they know Milad was hurt. They know that damage was dealt there, and again, they know they need to go for more eliminations. They've got to be very careful though. That third party of the yellow triangles coming in is going to be scary. It is going to be awkward because that team will come in, they will push from the other side, and then if they decide, you know what, no, we're gonna spray the team spraying them, they catch you off guard, you're down, your game is done, you are going to semifinals with your placement points. So you've got to be careful. Marumbi, we saw do very well, pick up that victory royale, is going to be trading with Noah Riley, and I like that they've paused. I like that they came back because I don't think taking this fight now would be in their best interest.
I think what they're trying to do is get a little bit of server focus on their side, but no one's really looking this way. They're all looking towards the southwest side of the zone, it looks like. Snazy has to pick up Nate for the moment. What a nice loadout to play with, but if you don't have your full team, it's troublesome. Sky is getting that revive down. There is the Oxy's team, I believe, right beside him, but they'll be chilling for now. Everyone's got to squeeze all the way in. This zone is where you see a lot of casualties, a lot of trio members lose their teammates. And remember, for Snazy, they have a team right beside them on tiebreaker territory that has a win. So they might need to win this game, Clay, if they want to make it to the finals.
Prepping for that immediate launch pad. It seems like, no, they're going to go for the peppers, and I like that. Save that pad for that next zone.
Oh my
Honestly,
God.
This is a very awkward rotation right into high ground in the open field. I like that they're burning their materials here because it's so risky what they're doing. Luckily for them, there's no bolt action sniper rifles. It's not as risky, but look who is right behind them. It's gonna be Crow, who is in 8th place right now. This is big. Chayo 5th and 8th place right on top of each other. Saddam is gonna get an elimination as well. That's gonna be another 7th place team taking down eliminations after eliminations. They need those. They need to keep being aggressive.
But Saddam did too, although the Loop Boys might not be in contention for the top 5. They've let the server breathe on mid and low ground. That Loop Boy trio is very good at trapping a team and then stealing away their position completely. They really mix up the way Hype plays. They mix up any steamy stacks end games as well, and we're really close to that. With them down now, it lets every other team think a little bit and not get interrupted in their flow.
2 elims. They're gonna need more. They were sitting at 7th place coming in. And in all honesty, I think the top 5 is not going to be able to be predicted. I think we'll see who clearly is going to be able to get first after this game, but the rest is going to come down, like you said. I think to tiebreakers. I think to these last-second clutches that we've seen before, these last-second surges up the leaderboard. Because again, reminder, if it seems like with 12, 14, 15th out of this game, it really comes down to the top 11, even really just the top 10. If you are inside there, you are what everyone's focused on in this game. If they see, hey, I know I just took down Crow, they were in 8th place, that's going to secure a little bit more for Saba and company, just a little bit more comfort.
I thought we were going to go straight back to the season 6 finals here, steamy with this zone, but nope. We're going a little bit more south. That plays very well for Snazy and Crow. Karma, though, has a full rotation. They're the yellow arrows you see on the mini-map. They have to go all the way back down to where this safe zone is. Might have to burn a pad, which is not going to be the best thing to do either if you want to have a say inside this end game. What will Saba do, though? Is Hydro still down below? There's a free Elam they don't have a say in just yet. The Storm Sword is just ticking on him. We can see the lightning, but they can't hear it. They can't see anything yet until that shield cracks, so they have no idea that free Elam is just right there, and they will skip it in form for the position and the rotation. That's smart. Here is kind of 5th and 8th, the upper echelon of the top 5, or I guess the bottom part. Now they're in 4th. That's insane. Snazy, Skite, and Nate are kind of holding the line as to who can really qualify for the finals.
So 4th, 5th, and 8th are all right near each other in this game. Everybody is on top of each other. If one team makes a mistake, if one team goes a little bit too over aggressive, it is over for them. And talk about being over aggressive. Look at high ground right now, building out off of that zone, holding high ground in 5th is going to be hard. Mustache in the elimination feed. We saw Rezon in the elimination feed as well. Malabuka getting involved as well. It's great to continue to see, but 1st through 11th still being up in this game, it's really anybody's.
Snazy, Nate, and Skite gonna be on the hot seat. This should be the main focus. 141 points. It's currently what fifth is at. Unless there's another team that really popped off, we would have seen it though. It would have been about 7 or 8 elims already. It should be holding things down. What do they do next? They got gifted one zone, and now they really have to earn the next one. A max rotation. We got one pad in the pocket.
They've got peppers, or a singular one here for Skite. I'm not sure if he's given some over yet, but they're looking. They're going back and forth, trying to decide. Nate looking for an angle. Skite trying to find one there as well. Maybe able to skirt around the backside, and I think that's what they're going to do. Peppers are dropped. They're not going for the pad. They are going to go on foot. Maybe recycle a pad here. I think that's one of the biggest things we haven't really seen this much this season is going for the recycle, but that's why it is that much more scary, that much more risky. You have to be careful around the edge of zone. They continue to go. This reminds me of what Chap would do, try to find these rotations that are awkward. Clement is going to go down. That's a big one there. Loki going to go down. That's a big one there. Only Deceptos remaining. That's third place, almost out of the game. What can Deceptos do? Can they clutch up? Can they find anything?
I want to see the Deceptos right now. Maybe the points he goes down at is something Skite can fly by. Floki finally eliminated. It'd be cool to see right now. They have big shots too. What a genius rotation from these guys. If everyone's in the sky, the ground should be free game to move from. Hydro finally going down to the storm. He survived for so long and took down Kira as a fact as well as he was walking by. Hey, Skite and Snazy though have a higher position. Never seen all three alive like this before. Usually Skite or Snazy are going down first, but they finally made an endgame as a trio. What happens next though, because they're 6 below, that surge damage, the ping is too good on those walls. They won't find anything, but Snazy finds this very, very secure shot. Just absolute miracle of a beam right there to barely keep them above that line. 10 people still need to go down.
Look who's on high ground again. It's Aqua. They're trying to make a last second surge. 11th place there for them. If they get a lot of elims, they could. Skite gonna go down. Snazy almost gonna go down as well. Nate down very low. Snazy really needs to catch up with 7 builds. There's not really an opportunity. Nate gonna get a siphon effect there. There's barely maybe a flopper coming through. A lot of players going down. Axe will fall. We see Shizo still here. Karma trying to do something. Karma's down. You're right aware. And Karma not able to work together this time. It's up to Zendaya. What can they do? Snazy trying to get into zone. Nate there as well. Diox will fall. They're on the other side. Snazy gonna go down to zone. Nate, what can you find? Can you get the elim? Yes, he can, but how much more can he grab? Third place out of this game. They could drop all the way out of top 5. Nate is trying to just stay up, trying to get around this mountain. Does he have a launch pad? No. Does he have enough builds? Maybe. He doesn't have a harpoon to break through. 2 builds remaining. Really has to make a play.
He's trying to clutch. Meanwhile, on height, Reason versus Aqua. It's going down to the teeth of it. CRR gonna get affected. Fast Roki finally goes down. Who has it? Who knows? Nate against 2 different people. Knocks one. But Tidy's trio is the one to take him out. They'll climb over Nate, maybe. 19 points puts them at 152 in 5th place for the moment. And Aqua and CRR are the ones to win all the way up top. Tayson still survives. Fast Roki and Reason are the casualties of that fight. And Saba's still alive at 152. He can pass by right now. They got 5 elims to catch up on the board, and now with 154 they push even further. That's huge for them. That should be a top 5 for now, but what else can they do? 156. This might be a qual POV we're watching, and it's all brought to you by Cabbages inside this end game. Saba finally moving in, goes for one of the shots but doesn't land anything. Has to maybe move around the left side. It's getting tricky in the zone, but it's Tayson that he owns. Absolutely insane from Saba. He's making it work.
We're looking at a qualifying run there. There's no way Malabuku and CRR, they could make a qualifying run as well. It would have taken a lot from Aqua and CRR. Hellfire still in this game as well, still trying to secure again their 4th place coming into this game. That's a nice top 3 there, but what can Aqua and CRR do? They need a lot of points. I think it might just be out of grabs, but who knows if they get these eliminations in the Victory Royale, it might be enough. CR has been sent down. Aqua healing up above. Shots go through. Aqua gonna take a lot of damage, but he didn't do enough. Back gonna go down. CRR will fall momentarily. It's gonna be Malabuka, Verstash, and Saizo who secure the Victory Royale again. This time 11 eliminations with 199 points.
They start the day off with a VR. They set the pace. They went a little bit far away and chilled off for a while, and then came back in game 6 and showed you how to wrap up a qualification. What an amazing day for Mustache, Malabuka, and Shizo. It's been an expert level qualification for them, Clay, and it's amazing to watch.
It really has, and it's great to see again some of the younger guard coming through and saying, hey, don't take us for granted. Look at us, see that we are playing phenomenal Fortnite and that we can go head to toe with the best of the best. So we know first and second is either going to go to Taysun or is either going to go to Malibuku. We don't know exactly what position there. We don't know how many points they ended out. But the real story is who's third, who's fourth, who's fifth, because it's really anybody's position.
Absolutely is. And Clay, phenomenal job on the EU cast, man. Always amazing to hit these games with you, especially when it's this close. Any final words?
I'm excited to be back for, I believe, the semifinals there with you for one more day, because I know EU is going to bring the action.
And we're excited on the desk, and we saw that big pop off as well just a little bit ago. I mean, we really have to toss it straight back. Zeke, Levin, and Reese, what do we have after that game? Who is in our top 5?
Shy Wager Clay, just want to give a shout out to you specifically, Clay. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here in EU for the day. We'll see you again in semifinals. Shy Wager, you're a king as always. Let's take a look at our top 5. I couldn't wait. We're going to take a second here to talk about some stuff, but I had to know Floki, Clement, DeSantos. This is why Levin talked about them at the top of show. Okay, there was this big question mark. Would they make it in? They didn't qualify at all. They didn't even make round 4 last week. If they hoped to make it into semifinals, they had to perform well. For them, this week, they came in strong. Said, you know what, Zeke? We ain't going to no semifinals. You're going to see us in finals.
I am in awe of not just that team, but Mustache Malibuka and Shiza winning the whole thing when they weren't initially even qualified for round 4. You know, there was some complications. There were some things that happened. We don't need to get into that. But these guys weren't supposed to be here. They were 34th. You know, at the start of the show, you know, we do the explainer, guys, you know, standard stuff. Well, yeah, the top 33 teams from round. These guys were 34th. They weren't even in the top 33 teams, but they happened to get in. And when they got in, they said, we're taking this chance. How'd you like me now? First place, when they probably shouldn't have even been here, is phenomenal. They will secure a spot in the finals, and well-deserved. They've performed so incredibly well today. They've shown that, you know what, ruthless aggression sometimes is the way, right? And they've done it incredibly well. Like, I'm in awe of them today.
Yeah, they played fantastic. And let's be real now, this sets up something that's going to have to be very interesting in our finals, because we know Benji's team, alongside Savage and Dretta's, also qualled inside Steamy Stacks to share a drop spot. We know for a fact that Mustache, Malibuka, and Shizo are not leaving. They will fight that, I mean, till the end of the 12 games, let's be real. So for Benji's team, they have a decision to make at this point. Do they try and get another drop spot before another team qualifies in? What do they want to do? That's going to be a good day to watch.
I don't know, man. I feel like Benji ain't going to leave that spot. But that's a discussion for us later on. Right now, we want to highlight Mustache, Malibuka, and Shizo. 2 victory royales, 45 total eliminations. Eliminations versus the top 10. Levin, this number specifically is absolutely god tier, absolutely out of this world, terrifying number.
No, this is insane. Like, this is truly unreal. Like, they can't be stopped. You know, they are, you know, in many ways, as Shai said earlier, you know, the same animal but a different beast. They are just phenomenal in that they don't fear, right? I think, you know, it's very easy to come into lobbies like this and maybe not want to go that extra little bit because you respect your opponent. These guys don't have any respect for their opponents. They are confident in their ability, and it shows in the way they play.
It really does, right? Like, you know, that stat about the fact that they kept managing to pick up eliminations on teams in the top 10 just holds up the fact that, I mean, they were just getting eliminations against anyone, let's be real. They could see that they were going for it, but also because they were consistently in the end game, which allowed them to pick up the other teams who were doing well in those games as well, consistently in the top 10 and picking up those ranks over and over. 3 double-digit games, 45 eliminations total, which we do the quick math, 7.5 average, which is very, very high for a qualifier.
Absolutely insane. We got to take a look at the standings and see how things shook out here.
There's a tiebreaker.
We went to a tiebreaker. Absolutely insane. So Levin is crazy though, right? This is yet again another trio you called out, and they took it to the tiebreaker. There's only 2 eliminations separating them. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Now you cast a curse to them. This is your fault, Levin. No, in all seriousness, it's still well fought, right? And coming out 6 is basically like a first when you're looking at the series point leaderboard. So I'm very confident we potentially will be seeing these guys in that top 66 going on to semifinals. But overall, the day was absolutely insane.